Hello, namaste, and welcome to my channel in a special episode. So, Agile Exploration Hub today hosting their 100th episode, where we have discussed with all type of speakers, industry experts on various topics of agile and career growth. So, without wasting much time, let's bring today's episode, which is Agile dying and where are we heading? So, is AI going to take over? Let's welcome all the panelists today. Hello, all. So, first, let's welcome Gazala Sayed.
Hello.
Hello.
And we have Jayaram.
Hey Nagesh, Aaron.
We have Jaspal.
Hello, this is Ramkumari.
And this is Ramkumari and Shubho. Hi, Shubho.
Hi, hello
Hello
everyone. Hi
everyone.
Nagesh.
How is everyone doing?
Good.
Good.
Very
Pretty
good.
good.
Is it raining at your place right now?
It's stopped for a while now, but you
Yes.
never know.
Yes. It's a bright sunshine today. Good.
Somewhat, yes.
Yeah. So, as you know, we always on special occasions like 25th episode, 50th of episode, and 75th of episode, we did a panel discussion. So, on our 100th episode, also we are planning to have a panel discussion. And as I mentioned, topic will be is Agile dying? What's the next for next decade? So, without wasting much time, let's get on with the very key question here for today. We all are agile professional. We worked as a Scrum Master, Agile coaches, and we have delivered multiple projects on Agile. Is Agile really dying, or people are just using it badly? So I would like to hear views from Jayaram.
Yeah, it's a very important question, right? So, considering the current trends and the boom that AI is carrying in the IT industry, not only in IT, in fact, all the dimensions. Simple answer is yes, to an extent, if you are following only the dynamics. All right. So, if you are practicing and only certain part of the framework, obviously the answer is yes. But if you are looking more from the problem solving angle, strategy angle, and systemic improvement angle, answer is no. It is actually evolving, I would say. And AI is helping you in that sense to adopt better, have more data to back you up, and travel along with you to bring that improvement, what you want to see on the ground, right? But yeah, in short answer, I would say yes, if you're following only the dynamics.
Jaspal, your views?
Well, I think, Nagesh, offline we've discussed this very premise and very question a few times, right? So I tend to resonate what just Jayaram mentioned. Agile is at a crossroads, yes. But I would say Agile has not failed. I would say it's because the world around Agile has changed faster than many Agile practices have, you know. So, like for nearly 25 years, Agile helped organizations respond to uncertainty. But today, with AI and so forth, like what Jairam just highlighted, uncertainty itself has changed, right? Earlier,
Correct.
we were dealing with changing requirements, business moving ahead faster, we needing to, catch up with the change and the pace, etc. Today, we are dealing with AI.
How is everyone looking at AI in terms of the current challenges, or whether it's good to have?
Agile is a mindset. It's a philosophy, and it will go
Mm.
through churn every now and then. So as and when your technology evolves, your landscape evolves, it will go through a churn. So that's the natural course, and that's what Agile has taught us, that uncertainties would be there. So
Mm.
it's here today, it would be there tomorrow, and the mindset remains the same. The mindset that we speak about, responding to change, being nimble, being agile, not being too stuck up on what we were doing yesterday. So that those tenets remain. Yes, of course. I mean, the pace at which the industry is changing
Mm.
has increased, and agile and its philosophies would have to evolve with that. So that's what I think.
Yeah. So AI should be leveraged to evolve.
Yeah.
That's what I also feel. AI made some agile role less valuable recently.
Shall I take this one?
Yeah, Gazala. Yeah, please.
Okay, so I don't think so. It has made less valuable, but I will say they are evolving and they're changing.
Mm.
So each and every role, whatever we are having in IT industry, is changing because of AI. And how you are going to take advantage of AI or how you are going to use AI for having a better performance is the question now, rather than saying that anything has made a less valuable. So, for example, if Scrum Master is just running the ceremonies, updating Jira tickets, writing tickets, or just attending the meetings, that's not going to help. So now we have to think from coaching perspective. We have to bring a human angle here, which AI can't do, right?
Correct.
The conflict resolutions, the judgment side of the story, strategic thinking, how we can have a outcome based thinking. So all these things we have to now start bringing in, where we definitely have to take a AI help, because AI is going to give you the data on which basis you are going to take it further. So many roles like product manager or product owners, that role is also evolving, because lots of the tasks like user story writing, then and doing the analysis for any particular client or a stakeholder, that has become very easy because your documents are getting read through AI. It's giving you the summaries. So, but how those summaries and how that data will be used by the product owner is more important, and that nobody can take off from us, because definitely a human brain plays a crucial role here. So that's what
Correct.
thinking is.
Correct. Yeah, and then the key thing here is also the decision making. Even if the data is there, AI can analyze that data, but AI cannot make a decision. Okay,
Right.
a human have to make that decision, right?
Yes. Yeah. And that
So
360-degree thinking AI can't do, because all facts and figures won't be with AI. So definitely human plays a crucial role in decision making.
absolutely. And Jaram, your views on this one?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with what Gazala was mentioning, right? So we need to make use of AI, especially what people can't do, right? Or what people may take more time, right? Which
Mm.
is about pattern recognition, right? And connecting the dots. We need more data pointers. We need what happened in the past. How can we adopt forward, right? So, but what people good at it? Connecting with people, building trust, right?
Correct. Mm.
Coaching aspects, right? So people don't buy frameworks, but what they like to do is, okay, how are you solving their problem? How are you being empathetic, right? And most importantly, whether you are able to switch the approach depending on what is happening on the ground, right? You can't follow certain framework. So if you are following all those things, yeah, maybe just write a prompt. It will write stories in a few seconds, right? You,
Correct.
acceptance criteria, readiness, whatever you want to do, it can do in a couple of seconds. So why do you need a role for that, right? But if you want to connect with people, which is where Agile is good at, connecting with people, I think that's where we need to adopt, right? So how can we focus more on the people connection front, and how can we bring that into a systemic angle where we can solve a bigger problem, and speak rationally rather than uh, just specific to data, which AI
Correct.
can always do at a given point.
Correct. Yeah, normally when we use these GPTs, yeah, I always get one type of or one directional answers. Always, there was no 360 rational has been taken care, how, or even when I'm giving the inputs, my emotional sentiments are not being understood very well. Maybe I'm writing in some different mood or something. Uh, So those angles also need to be taken. But if I'm talking to a human and I'm giving a constructive feedback to a person who is genuinely taken efforts to grow in my project, that person will take that positively and work more, smartly going forward. So this kind of a human intervention or human touch is necessary. Every time we cannot delay, always depend on AI for doing anything. So that those are my views. Anyone wants to add your views on this topic?
Yeah, I think Nagesh, pretty much Gazala and Jayaram added their views, very apt views, I would say. I think AI also exposes something very interesting, Like for years, we've confused productivity with value, right? We were very keen on measuring velocity and whatnot. But AI gives us unprecedented productivity, which makes value creation even more important, I would say, right? Agile was never about uh, producing more backlog items, to be honest. It was more about maximizing value delivery, right? While going through the feedback loops, learning continuously, and so forth. Ironically, if we look at things, AI makes that original purpose more relevant. I'm sure you would agree.
Agree,
So,
yes.
I would like to mention that AI may not eliminate entirely, some roles, or AI may not make agile less valuable, etc. It's in fact helping us raise the bar, right? And I personally believe the future belongs to adaptive individuals, not merely agile professionals, so to say, right?
Hmm.
So I would strongly propose, don't just become an expert in Scrum or Kanban, become an expert in adaptation, right?
Right.
Don't become an expert in tools or frameworks, as I think Jairam was also calling out
Yeah.
initially about frameworks. So, becoming an expert in helping people make better decisions, become better coaches, I think that's far more important. And that's really coming up uh, with this world where AI is taking up tasks which can be taken up by AI by all means, but things which are human, let them remain human. So I would like to just sum up with this statement, which is like, it's more important for us to look at things like what problem is actually worth solving. So we should focus more on that, right?
Right. Absolutely right. So focus on the problem and solve it. And moving on, now we will move to Dr. Ramkumari. What hard truth about Agile will upset many professionals?
Um, so when Agile has come in 2001, so everybody was very happy because of the Agile manifesto that was given across. But what it happens is the organization started to see this as an Agile theater rather than not typically being an Agile, right?
Mhm.
So that is it's as rightly said, people talking about sprints, Scrum Mastering, and uh, typically people are trying to do a kind of a waterfall method combination with the kind of an agile with the sprints and other things. I think that is the key main stuff which people doesn't like to have it. Another thing is in agile there are a lot of certifications. We talk about it's a blend of certifications, and certifications will not make people ready in 2 days, 3 days if you attend it. But unless and until the organizations or the people try to follow the process, change the culture, that is very important in the normal perspective. Another key item which I wanted to see is people think that Agile will bring or it will make the absolutely make the management to be very good, but typically it is not. Rather than faster stuff, it supports that you fail it faster so that you will be able to reclaim it, kind of a thing. I think that is also from the kind of a dynamic mindset which we need to have it. People, if they are not changing, most of the things which we talk about, of course, we talk about people, process, technology. Process and technology can be adopted and taken across, but people perspective is really very tough, and that really makes a lot of things for the organization to follow, right? So that's where it comes with the kind of a culture, the mindset, the psychology, and other things which makes a lot. Following agile, I follow agile principle, I follow agile framework. So what? Uh, have we really forgotten about the kind of a product? The customers are not thinking that, okay, uh, do you follow this framework, that framework standards and other things, but are you trying to understand the customer problem, get into that, uh, get the kind of right feedback, incorporate it on a regular work, and deliver them in a better way so that they don't have any kind of a issue in their transactions and other things. I think that is what it means a lot. And there's a couple of things, if we talk about it, people have taken agile in a very it's a closed kind of a framework they are talking, but it is very vast that
Mm.
you have to really get into the mode. So that's what I wanted to typically think about it. Another very key thing is self-organizing teams that we
Right.
talk about. It's not that you give everything and then you start following. If you are telling that I'm giving all the freedom to my team, then why we wait for the approvals and other things? So, but there should be kind of a blend of nature that has to be there. One way, I think the organization follows agile. The other way, there are many other approvals out there. So again, people doesn't follow the kind of a coordinated, non-siloed way. Again, it is really getting into the silo. So there's a couple of things which I wanted to bring to the kind of a table what we are into.
Interesting. A very different perspective. Look at. Jayaram, your views on this one?
Yeah, see, for me, if I take a step back, one thing which I often tell to people is it is a recipe, right?
Right.
But the kitchen is different. Every organization is different.
Mm.
The kitchen, the ingredient that you follow in their setup, that's different. So you can't just copy paste. You can't just just go and say, okay, yeah, within 15 minutes, okay, I'll get this recipe done, and it will be exactly what you are expecting, right? So you need to try it out. You need to test it out, how people are perceiving, where recipe has got into disaster mode, right? So you never know. You need to test it out. So just copy pasting something which is there in some organization, uh, like, okay, you want to follow Spotify or you want to follow Safe, just because you are highly regulated, Safe doesn't work, right? Or just because we are very fluid, so Spotify doesn't work, right? You need to try it out. You need to test it out. But one thing which I found is many agile transformations have been pure process transformation, not cultural transformation.
Correct.
It's only people, it's only process oriented. You follow X and Y, yeah, you'll get Z, right? It's not only that. You need to rinse, repeat, do the same thing again and again. Then only you know what is working, what is not. So yeah, it's not a process transformation. I think we need to be mindful of that. And moreover, many things, especially in terms of the way things are being done, you follow certain mechanics, but your release cycles are not frequent. You are still waiting for stage gates that will open only once in 2 months, once in 3 months, right? Which is not helping because your customers are waiting. You can't always say, okay, yeah, I'm highly regulated. I can't go live in a month. I have to test all these things, right? So we need to look more from the mechanics. Look at your funding model. Look at your people recognition incentive model. How are you following certain decision making? How are you adopting your strategy? What is your way of running end-to-end system, right? So just don't follow blindly. Something is there in some framework, just don't follow. But look at more from a people aspect, cultural aspect, because highly regulated organizations may need more of a thinking from a domain perspective. How you can think from a customer experience angle? How can you cut down uh, the regulation related issues, all the approvals which can take probably weeks rather than going in a couple of days, right? I think we need to look from those angles. Don't just follow as a process transformation, but look beyond that.
A question to all of you. How it is going to impact the certification industry? What's your views on this one?
Probably I can take this up,
Yes, Jyoti,
Nagesh.
yes.
Yeah. So even not only Agile, if you see when AI came, you can see you log in on LinkedIn and you see so many certification, etc.
Correct.
And to be very honest, like even I was someone who was behind these things, like okay, a because it's not for selection, but it prevents you from elimination. Okay, so there would be certifications. The agile, whether we are talking about the current certifications in agile or we talk about AI, they would be there. I'm not against them because if you take those certification with a good intent, then you get to learn a lot of things.
Correct.
But there are certain, I mean, I'll share my own experience. Like I was 3.5 years experience when I took PMP certification, right? And I cleared also because for me, okay, took those 2-3 days of training and then I prepared myself, etc. But honestly, when actual situation came, was I able to apply those learning? No, I was not. It's very late in my career. Like when I'm like 15 years experience, then I understand those, okay, communication model, those stakeholder management, how communication could be very complicated, risk, etc. Right? So you take as many as certification you want to. There's no harm, but trust me, until unless you face the problem, you won't be able to solve it, right? So yes, and there would be people, Nagesh, who would be going for those certification, right?
Correct.
There would be some who would understand this, like me, very later in the stage, that okay, first get those experience and then go for certification. But there would be people who want to get into IT, right? For them, it would be a gateway to enter, right? To
Correct.
avoid themselves from elimination. So I feel the certification industry still would be there, and but it would be like if people like us go and share that when to take the certification, when not to take the certification, that might help. But still, people would go for certification because they feel that that would give them a job.
Right. Anyone with the views? Gazala.
For me, it's economics 101.
Yes.
If a job description says that you need PMP, the PMP industry, the certification industry will boom. You look at any job description, even we are the culprits of it because we want to have some filter. So if I'm hiring for a Scrum Master, I would need, I mean, without even batting an eyelid, I put that the person should be PSM or CSM certified. Is it right? Is it wrong? I don't know, but I'm a culprit. I do that, and so does everyone else. I mean, even if you have to hire, you would probably put that in your job description. And as long as it is there, there would be someone who would be selling a certification, and there would be 10 people lined up to buy that certification. And I mean it when I say buy that certification, because you can literally do a 3-hour workshop and answer 50 questions and get that certification. But
Correct.
does that mean that you understand that topic? You understand the nuances of the topic? Absolutely not. Like Jyoti said, even I did my PMP when I had less than 5 years of experience. And I studied for 1 month because at that time I was young. I had that capability of sitting through 3 hours and reading that PMBOK and that Rita Mulka. I had that grit and determination in me, and I had the stamina to sit for 4 hours and write that exam. so I could do it. But that did not make me a great project manager, right? My experiences, my failures did. So the reality is that the certification industry is there to stay, and as long as we ask people to have those certifications as mandates, somebody would be selling that certification. So yeah, that's that.
Shubho and Jyoti, you're both still young. Yeah, Gazala. Yeah,
I want to add two perspectives. Yes,
sure.
definitely certifications will be there and people are going to do them. But only thing which currently I am telling my team, or whenever we have juniors, we are telling them, when you are doing a certification, you have to keep in mind how you are going to apply it.
Correct.
If you know that how you're, like, for example, when we were doing Kanban training, actually we have a Scrum framework in our organization, but still we thought that let's have one more certification and we can learn few new things. But that trainer was so good that he told us all the practical things and he gave us assignments such a way that we were able to understand how this concept will get applicable. And you will not believe, though we were following the Scrum framework in our organizations, we implemented Kanban for our IT teams. So that kind of thought-provoking thing should be done when we are doing a certification. This is one thing. And second thing is, I think the way currently certifications are set up, that has to be changed. Currently, the way Shubhadeep and Jyoti said, the PMP they have cracked in a month's time, right? But at least I will say PMP needs lots of preparation, lots of things they do. But many certifications don't demand that. You just do a 1 day workshop and the certification is in your hand at the end of the day. That system should also be changed somewhere so that you will not get easily certification, but you have to do some kind of efforts to earn that certification.
Right.
Listen, until that thinking will change, the certifications are losing value because of that. So this is another perspective, my perspective, but I think if this change, then definitely the certifications will have more value.
Great. Shall we move on? Then,
I have something to add to this.
sure.
Certifications are the needed point or a kind of a fundamentals to make a person subject matter. Okay. But of course, this has to really change. I agree with all the other fellow panelists that it should be a kind of an experiential learning. So that will really give us what exactly, where exactly, how exactly it can be applied across. That is very much there. And I think that is getting evolved because the AI coming in. I think the lot of latest versions of many certifications currently, it's the latest version is getting embedded with that kind of a thing. But slightly the way of the certification has to change. The prerequisites needs to be changed.
Correct.
Of course, the PMP. I'm also PMP certified for last 20 years. Okay, in the start of my career, I did it. I'm a topper in PMP. I didn't know that I will fail in the exam, but I became topper. So, but of course, I really understand the value of PMP today. Whatever I do, whether I am in infosec or any kind of digital transformation or privacy principle, everywhere apply the project management concepts. That really helped me because how do you follow that? Because it's a kind of a revolving around the circle. Like we talk in a SDLC language like initiate, build, compile, test, and other things. Here we talk about initiate, plan, then you can build across, then you will also put across the execute, control, that close. So in different language, it is just changing, but of course it's all revolving around the same kind of a meaning and concept. But only thing is, what I wanted the certification agencies to be there. I think the methodology and the kind of how they are going to test it across, that needs to be slightly changed, which is evolving. I think in DevSecOps and other places where it has completely changed. So in Agile world also, if it changes, it merges and integrates with multiple other standards, then this is really going to be standing across.
Nice. Really good examples here. Great. Now, we did briefly discussed about these points, but like which agile roles will still remain valuable or still exist and 10 years from now?
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to take this. Today we have Scrum Masters, Technical Project Manager, Technical Delivery Manager, such kind of roles are there. Particularly Agile Coach. Is it going to be there? I think it should be revamped because today AI is coming as a new technology. It should not be only kind of a framework principle kind of a thing. It should be embedded into the completely the organization culture. Kind of, it should be a engineering manager, how the engineering manager will design from the start to the end, how that person is going to do it. So that this agile coaching and the manifesto, the principles, the DevSecOps philosophy, everything needs to be embedded into the kind of roles, and that is going to be there. So it's just a kind of a revamping of what is currently as a role, might be sticking across what is coming up in the coming future, because the transformation is too fast. I think for the last 1 year at least, we see in the speed of the transformation is so much, right? And typically it is most of the people need to understand about it. But of course, the awareness and other stuff. See, why this is happening is why the roles are sticking across, because a lot of the board members or the senior members or the stakeholder doesn't understand about the key principles and the standards in the organization. So I think once they also slightly, and I'm not telling that you need to be completely in depth, but at least you need to understand where it can be applied, how what people are talking about, why they are talking about, where they are taking it across. Then it matters a lot that they can devise a new role as it sticking across. So it will be a kind of an AI enabled in such kind of an what is that ambassador kind of a role might come in. So which takes up all the kind of a frameworks. So Agile framework is the core for it, okay? Because it takes a lot of freedom, your transparency. Yeah, all those things are very, very much integrated. And of course, when we are talking about AI, the process is also very much needed. Okay. So we take CI/CD and other things. The process, without processes, you cannot. So the ideal service management with agile combination will come into picture, and that is how the things are. And so it will be a kind of an ambassador kind of role, or end-to-end value chain engineer kind of role, or value chain manager kind of role, because we talk about start to end to the end customer, not only one
Correct.
phase. So
Right.
that is completely going to be, and mostly it should be a kind of a product oriented, not a framework oriented or a principle oriented. So ultimately, AI is a technology which is used to get the product in a better way to the customer's hand in a faster. What we are doing X, it will be 10x. So it's like a typically engineering manager combination of agile coaching and other things will be there. So slightly the job description or the role parameter will change, but it will be embedding most of these principles. That's what I see it.
Correct. So most of the agile role will remain, but they will be more agile enabled and AI enabled, and then working end to end instead of on the focus points. Anyone wants to add their views on this one?
Probably I can add, Nagesh.
Yeah.
Um, I think Jayaram picked a very important point about culture, right?
Mm.
So, when we talk about the HI role, what I feel is as a layer, you would always need a individual who would know about these events, about okay, what exactly we mean by backlog, why it is important to go for iterative development, etc. So, as a layer, we would always need that knowledge, right? Forget about AI. Like before, also you would have seen that the role of Scrum Master was evolving. Like in my
Correct.
organization, also, I'll share a couple of examples. Like in my current organization, engineering manager is kind of doing a Scrum Master role. There was another organization which I joined wherein they didn't believe in hiring Scrum Masters, etc. The developers, they used to rotate, like, okay, in this sprint, you are going to be the Scrum Master. So you always saw, and there was organization like one of my first organization, we really followed agile principles really well. We had the concept of silo, sprint, PI planning, etc. Like, but after 10-15 years, in another organization, those things are still not being followed. So you'll always see a blend. There would be some organization, they would be very ahead in the game, and there would be few who are still old ways of working, those same Excel sheet, or rotating the responsibilities of a Scrum Master, which we know it's not just about running the events, etc. Right? So as a layer, we would always need individuals who have agile knowledge, right? But yes, role would evolve, right? Yes, we would need somebody who understands that, bring any AI tool, bring any framework. If culture is not adaptive, if people fear speaking up, or Jayaram talked about incentives also, like, okay, if you want people to adapt something, so what would I get if I'm making sure that team is adopting certain AI tools in their day-to-day work, if productivity is increasing? So what is the incentive? I think these are the kind of things where we need to upskill as a agile individual, as a Scrum Master, etc. Like, think about governance, think about ethics. So those things you have to learn, right? Even if we talk about, again, going back to the certification, so there are certifications on AI fluency. So similarly,
Correct.
you need to know the Scrum fluency and then upskill yourself to the latest things.
Very well. Very nice points. Very, very important points again. Now, you briefly mentioned about Scrum Master. How did you need to upskill and how did it to continuous learning? I want to hear from Jaspal. Jaspal, should experienced Scrum Masters rethink their career plans today?
Short answer, yes.
Hmm.
So already everybody has highlighted so many things. I don't want to sound like an advice giving monster here. Uh, so um, I would like to take a step back, actually, right? So that's my personal opinion. Chances are you may not agree with me, but Scrum Master, that title, the role has been highly abused,
Hmm.
right? If you ask me, that word master was engraved for some reason. Master is not somebody who doesn't have work. Please go ahead and take up being a Scrum Master for a short while. Master is someone who knows everything literally about the framework, about ways of working, and so forth. And highly important thing there is thinking in terms of being emotionally intelligent. The
Right.
more EI you have, the more psychologically safe places you build, more happier people you have, more happier products you churn out or you deliver, not just
Right.
churn out. My pardon my words, I did not mean it that way, but it's like delivering value truly. Yeah.
Right.
So I personally believe Scrum Masters, they don't have to be staying put there. Again, I would like to take a pause here and discuss with all of you about those 4 steps that we have essentially for someone to be called as a coach or a master. The first step is know, do, be, spread. So we fall prey for those 2-day workshops. Third day, suddenly we are PSM and CSM and whatnot, right? So that knowing step, we think we know everything, but there's do and be. Be is, okay, spiritually, am I really doing justice? And then you spread, right? Know, do, be, spread. So according to me, again, that's my humble opinion. You may disagree with me. The moment you are in that spread zone, you ideally should be called as a master or a coach, right? So
Right.
Nagesh, I mean, long story short, I think Scrum Master roles would remain valuable. Again, the Scrum Master need not just stay put there knowing just about Scrum and Kanban and a few other frameworks and methodologies. That person has to think big now. become a team coach, perhaps, organizational coach, perhaps, a change consultant. And of course, this person should not just go and advertise something like, I facilitate stand ups, or I'm a caretaker of agile ways of working. No, this person now has to scale up, right? Because he's
Correct.
already in that spread zone. So he can go out and say, I help organizations become better at learning, become better at delivering value, and so forth, right?
Right.
So, again, long story short, I think the role will remain with some additions. The title might change. I don't know about that, the future titles. But as you know, Jyoti and everybody else called out already, this person has to now adapt, pick up new things, embed those things. The culture thing may not go away because, according to me, the moment you adapt a growth mindset, you remain there, right? So the cultural bit should stay. That's my assumption. But these additional skill sets, when added, will make this person grow and flourish in that role, right?
Right.
So those were my 2 cents, Nagesh.
Thank you. Jayaram, your views?
I think the one aspect which I was about to say, which Jaspal has already covered, right? Scrum Master as a role will change, title would change, right? Because someone who is happy doing facilitation at a Scrum team level can't call himself as a coach or a master, right? He or she should go beyond that. We often talk about a framework called Shu-Ha-Ri when we're doing training, right?
Correct.
But if you ask Scrum Masters today, not putting anyone down, but most people who have gone through the 2 days training don't have an understanding of what re means or what ha means, right? Uh, so it's like, okay, it's easy to preach others, right? So you do that, do this and all. But when we are put under pressure as an individual, how do we take care of ourselves? I think that's where we need to manage ourselves better. So I totally agree with what Jaspal has already covered on some of the key aspect of how the dimension would change, right? You may be called yourself as a organization consultant or a change management consultant or a enterprise transformation leader, right? But you don't see anything agile related information there. It's more about cultural aspects, the organization context aspect. So Scrum Master as a role will go beyond teams. It is more about the business domain that you take care of, or the people that you need to deal with, maybe from a product side or maybe from a technology side. You never know. Every context differs. However, what I would look Scrum Master as a role is beyond a team, beyond specific framework or a skill set. It is everything into one, be it delivery, be it transformation, or be it coach. I think coach is a privilege I would have. Hopefully that would evolve. I think because as a Scrum Master, I have seen the journey where we tend to do less of coaching, more of preaching, right? But we call ourselves as consultant. No, it's not consulting. Consulting need to do coaching as well, right? So I think we need to do a mix of that as a Scrum Master. If anyone is trying to change themselves, I would probably tell them, okay, yeah, try to place yourself such that, okay, you know how to manage yourself first, right? And then you can pass on that vibe to the surrounding, help them uncover things, be their companion in whatever they are trying to do. Be a solver, be a problem solver, than just being hooked on to one specific skill, right? Be it AI,
Yes.
be it AI or anything. So tool would come and go. Even
Right.
AI boom may not last for long because we are already hearing about a lot of token cost related factors impacting organizations. So it again that aspect may evolve, right? So even roles will evolve. So we need to look at all those dimensions, but it's more about how are we carrying ourselves and at the same time be value addition to the people that we serve. Yeah.
Nice. Right. Moving on now. Now that we understood like how the Scrum Master role will evolve and what should they do to remain in the game, let's also understand the mistakes that agile professionals are making or will make in this decade. Would like to hear views from Gazala.
Sure. Okay, so biggest mistake which I have observed till now is we are thinking ourselves as a process experts. So we are just focusing on the frameworks, we are just focusing on the processes, and we are forgetting the other two parts, product and people. So
Mhm.
our focus should be on all these three areas, but all the time our focus is just on the processes, whether our ceremonies are happening or not, whether we are having these metrics in place or not. So our focus should now change because ultimate aim is value to be given to the customer. So what we are doing for that, so that is completely missing in the game. So I have seen many organizations when you ask them, you are agile. So what do you mean by you are agile? They are not able to answer you. They are saying, oh, we are having a Scrum framework or we are doing these ceremonies. So these answers are really showing that they don't know anything about agile. So this is the main mistake which we as agile professionals are already making. So now we have to also to be in the game, and when the AI is coming into the picture, what we have to do is we have to start thinking strategically. Then we have to also understand the business model so that you will add a value from that perspective rather than just going via process route. How I can add a value to my business. So if we start thinking in that way, then definitely you can make a difference. So for example, I will give you a small example. In many teams, we know that product owners are creating a user stories, right? We have a hierarchy of initiative, epics, user stories, everything in Jira, whatever there is, we are following it. But if I go and ask a team member, okay, you are doing these many user stories for this epic, what value you are adding to your customer? That person is not
Yeah.
able to tell that. That's the
Mm.
biggest gap because you don't know itself कि what difference you are making to customers. So we have to train our product owners, we have to train our developers, our teams, our organization to think that way, that each person should understand what value is, and if I'm going to do this task, what difference I'm making to the customer. Only then the agile will be successful, and that is completely currently missing, and that is the biggest mistake I think agile professionals are doing right now.
Very nice. Very nice. Before moving on to Jyoti, Shubho, you would like to add anything onto this point?
Yes, I mean, Gazala pretty much covered it all, but I mean, to add on to what she was saying, that the value, I mean, when we talk about value, so that value or the importance of value I have seen does not get trickled down to the last unit, to the development, to the BAs. A sprint goal changes in between. But why is that changing? Is the priority changing? Is the market demanding something else? Is your business demanding something else? If there is a new compliance which has come in, which is forcing us, which is twisting our hand to make this change, why are we changing? Nobody changes things just for the sake of it. Nobody derives any pleasure out of it. But that why does not get trickled down to the entire team, and it's our jobs as bees at RTs, as Scrum Masters, as leaders. It's our job to make sure that why gets trickled down and they understand in their language. You can't have the OKR language with somebody who has a 3-year experience and you expect them to understand, because the OKRs are changing. You will have to now abandon your existing sprint and do something else. You need to get down at their level and make them understand so that they see the big picture. And unless they are looking at the big picture, the frustrations will start creeping in, and then you will see all the consequences. You will see a rise in attrition. You would see your productivity going down, your velocity is going down. Those are not symptoms. So if you are able to address that why in a language which your team understands, then that's where the things change and that's where you start moving up.
Great. Jyoti, your views?
So, I think Gazala and Shubho has covered most of the thing. But again, one thing from my experience, like I got an opportunity to lead POC for a agentic AI program. And I found that with AI, your stakeholders are going to change. Like till now in my career, I never had opportunity to talk to legal, to procurement. But with AI, because it's a lot about security, it's a lot about finance, it's a lot about ensuring that, okay, for this program also, we were experimenting on creating a role-based agent for BA community, for SA, right? So the project was NDA at that time. Now I can discuss, right? Why it was made NDA? Because people fear that if something new would come in AI space, it is going to, what do you say, impact their career. Okay. So now, as a Scrum Master, how Jaspal said, actually, you have to be a master, not only master of framework of the process, but people. I feel people aspect is going to be very, very important because people are going to fear. We are talking about being a change consultant, we are talking about being an enabler, but we as a human are still scared that AI may take our job, right? Which we know is not true. Things gets evolved, like when Scrum came, or when we didn't had cloud providers, right? AWS, etc. The people who were actually managing the machines, they feared their job would go. But we as a human, we are very resilient. We learn upskills. So, but what I feel is, if as a Scrum Master or an Agile professional, we just stick to learning, upskilling with respect to hard skill, that won't help. Like, you learn the framework. In fact, you learn things related to AI, but the human aspect is something which we have to take care of, right? We have to focus on how we encourage people to learn, to adapt. In fact, like, okay, as a Scrum Master, if for example I was just facilitating the stand up, or I was making note and sharing the action item, now AI can take care of that, right? But your value still would be there, because you are the one who is going to connect the dots. You will understand why this action item came. So for me, I think, if we don't stop, though Agile was for people, right? But we somewhere went and started focusing on framework, process, this, that. But now is the time that you actually have to show that you are a coach, you are a master of Agile, right? You are encouraging adaptation, you are encouraging failing faster, etc.
Nice. So yeah, these are some of the mistakes that people are making. So avoid those mistakes now. One question that I would like to ask everyone. Okay, but I'll start with Jyoti. Jyoti, if you're starting your career today, would you still choose Agile as a career option?
Hmm. Would depend, Nagesh. Would really depend, to be very honest. As I said in my previous discussions as well, as a layer, you would always need that mindset, right? I'm not
Right.
talking about just the processes framework. Agile is also about the mindset, right? But the latest things we have to learn, right? If there is an organization which is still looking for a Scrum Master who can manage their project, who can take care of facilitation, backlog refinement, etc. Honestly, I won't go for that, right? I would always go for something which is okay. Yes, we need someone who has understanding of Agile, who knows the framework, but yes, who also knows the latest stuff. Like in this case, if it is AI, right? Because maybe if I don't leave my comfort zone, yeah, there is an organization who still values the core Scrum Master role or core Agile Coach role. I'll take it. But what about 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line? Somebody from the panelists mentioned that the changes are happening at a very fast pace, right? So I'll be left behind. I have to see my career 15 years, 20 years down the line. So I would always personally go for a role which is mix of both. Yes, that layer of Scrum Agile would be there, but yes, our role also has to adopt.
Nice. Jaspal, your views? Will you choose Agile?
Interesting question. I think Nagesh, again, offline we've discussed this a few times, right? So, um, I, you know, I have a question for you all. Like, think your 5-year-old learning to ride a bicycle. Would you have a 5-year plan, executing it perfectly? What would you do?
Well, I have a 3-year-old who's trying right now, so I won't. I mean, I will go with the
Okay,
flow.
let me change it to
Yeah,
let me
yeah.
change it to
So
3 year then.
yeah,
No. We are not going to write a project plan or
yeah,
something like that. We'll
exactly.
just.
You'll go
Yeah,
with the flow.
so
You'll
Hmm.
adapt every
so
single day.
we try, right? Either irrespective of the age, 3 or 5 or whatever.
Yeah,
So we try, we wobble, we fall, someone gives us feedback, we adjust, we try again, and then we learn, right? And
Right.
right.
we become masters. Now that's iterative learning, right? To me, that's agile is in its purest form, right from your childhood, right? Think about it. It's not bound by any certification, any framework, etc. It's getting better, it's being adaptable, it's collaborating, etc.
Hmm.
So my short and sweet answer is yes. If the role is allowing me to be adaptable, choosing a mindset of continuous learning, being collaborative, having relentless focus on value delivery, so forth. So my answer definitely is yes. I wouldn't choose agile just because it's the next shiny word or it's fashionable. I would just choose it because uncertainty isn't going away. In fact, our world is getting more complex by the day, right? And
Right.
wherever uncertainty exists, adaptability will always outperform rigidity, right? So to me, agile is that discipline of learning quickly enough to keep delivering value in a changing world. So changing world today is AI and whatnot. And tomorrow it would be something else. I don't know. But yeah.
Right.
So the short answer is yes,
Yes.
because if it will allow me all this, why not? I would
Right.
still pick and choose agile.
Very nice. Yeah, Dr. Ramkumari, will you choose Agile?
With this years of experience, if somebody asks now, might not. But if I'm starting my career at this moment, with a lot of sources and information that is available, I'll just first go through it, how this agile is going to really help me out, yeah, to survive in the coming days, coming years. Possibly, of course, one point I see that it's good to take a kind of role in agile because it has also has demonstrated a good amount of principles which nobody can tell that it's not, because the openness, the transparency, the kind of a manifesto what has been given, it's a kind of standard subset for anything else and everything else to be built across. So over and above, possibly you will start exploring yourself, getting into a different kind of sets, um, using this kind of a standard or a principle. Maybe I will evolve to use the different process practices, using the AI related stuff, security related things, and that's how I will try to evolve. So my answer would be yes.
Thank you. Gazala, what about you?
I will definitely say yes because when I shifted to Agile, it was not just a role shift for me, it was a transformation within myself. Because before that, what is growth mindset and those concepts which Agile brings into you, those were completely missing, and that have transformed me as an individual as well. And considering the AI coming into picture and lots of technology changes, and the changes are coming very fast, the way Jaspal said, uncertainty is increasing, more agileness and more agile thinking is required. And I have seen that many people don't understand what agile means, so we have to help them to make them understand what growth mindset is. How when you are saying you are agile, how you should be working. When we say have a feedback, people are not using that beautiful thing. Why we should have a feedback? On feedback, you have to go and build the next thing. So these all beautiful concepts are there, and now we are the masters of those things. Definitely, we have to help other people to understand these things and deliver better and have the happy customers. So I will not say that agile will be the title going forward. It might change the way everyone suggested, but agile will be there. And what we have to do is we have to back it up with our strategic thinking, with understanding how the business models are there, by having a more understanding of domain. So we can use agile and these all other core areas, and we can more it more robust. That I will say.
Yeah, nice, very nice. Now, coming on to our last question. Again, I would like to hear views from all the speakers, and I'll start with Shubho. Shubho, one key takeaway from entire today's discussion and your views is Agile dying.
Agile as a mindset, agile as a philosophy is going to remain. I mean, how we call it, if we call it a Scrum Master, if we call it a RT, or if we call it something else, that might change. I mean, I can't predict the future. So a different name, it will be there. I mean, 20 years from now, those mindsets, those philosophy, those tenets would be there in some way or form. And as long as, I mean, the world would remain to change. Today, it's AI. 6 months from now, we would be talking about something else being
Correct.
a threat to agile. But that's not what it is going to be. I mean, there is no, I mean, there's no competition. I mean, agile and AI are not at crossroads with each other. I mean, it's going to complement each other in some way or form. And even if something better comes, Jayaram already spoke about the cost of your tokens and the cost of AI. Tomorrow, the cost of AI might lose its sheen, and it may not be financially viable to run AI at a scale which we are doing today. So there might be something else. And then the question would remain, is that something else will replace Agile? It's not going to replace that. The roles would evolve. Every role, not only a Scrum Master, a Scrum role, even a developer role, even a BA role, every role is going to evolve. So that's my takeaway.
Thank you. Jayaram, your views?
Yeah, so if there has been one takeaway, I would probably say Agile is not at crossroads, but the professionals who are practicing Agile, they are. So it's time to look beyond a framework, uh, and embrace, like Jaspal mentioned, today some technology, tomorrow it might be something else, right? So we have seen 2000 revolution. We are seeing now AI revolution. Some time back, we also saw cloud and digital transformation revolution. So it will be there. Those revolutions will be there. It's part and parcel of the industry. So what we can do best is how can we embrace those skills, not fake it, but at least try to understand best and serve our customer better than hooked on to specific framework or specific jargon. I think it's more beyond the jargon now. So I have to be honest about it. Beyond the jargon. So be true to what you are practicing and bring people along. I think the people related skill is very relevant than ever. So that will save us. If you are true to those skills, I think that would save us. Yeah.
Great. Dr. Ramkumari, your views?
See, agile, typically, as rightly said, it's a mindset, it's about the culture. But how do you do it is use the agile. One word, if I wanted, sentence that I wanted to tell about agile as a key takeaway is, of course, we are living in the world of people process technology, right? So you make this agile practices and principles to make the process effective, make the people to understand and better fit into the kind of a cultural perspective, and use that in a perfect way in the kind of a new technological, that is typically AI world, or whatever the new things which is going to come in. I think it also brings in a lot of collaboration, coordination that none of the other things have brought in. So I think agile with the latest with infrastructure and operations bringing together today, I think it brings the coordination, collaboration, integration concept all together, which is very important for the sustenance of the ecosystem in the coming days. I think that's the one key takeaway from me.
Okay. Jyoti, your views?
Nagesh, lot of key takeaways, but one which really stuck to me, I was writing those as well. What Jaspal mentioned about mastery, right? Know, do, be, and spread. I think uh, this is the time, like when Agile came, everything was new to us, like people adapted it in its own way, right? But now we have that learning. We have experts in the agile world, right? We have people like you all who have gone through that transformation. Yeah. So learning from them, understanding where we failed, how we failed, and then using that learning for something as disruptive as AI. I would say that is my key takeaway from this discussion. That when we are saying ourselves as coaches, when we are calling ourselves as a master, you really have to know your stuff really well, right? It's not about same old stuff. Oh, you're going to build, you are going to deploy, right? You are going to write the code, somebody is going to review it. Here a lot of things would be AI generated. So how do you bring your mindset has to really change. How would you innovate, right? How do you ensure that okay, whatever is being done in one team is not being repeated, because everybody wants to do something in AI, right? So those kind of a things really requires us as to be really be a master of processes as well, right? How do you ensure that there is a collaboration? How do you ensure that there is a psychological safety? How do you ensure that people are not thinking about short term win, rather long term wins, right? So this is my key takeaway, like truly become a master of what you are doing.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Jaspal?
I think the key takeaway is Agile is definitely not dying. It's as old as human history, and it'll remain as long as humans remain on the planet. Because when we look at the word agile, it simply means swift, nimble, quick, so on and so forth, right? So that term agile, the kind of meaning that it has on our jobs, forget about the job titles. I'm not talking about job titles here, but agile will remain. And now talking about ways of working, right? I'm always in a very happy mode when I recall my interactions with one-to-one interactions. I'm so lucky with one of the signatories of Agile Manifesto, Jim Highsmith. So I've had one-to-one conversations with him. He's 80 plus now, and he has narrated stories when he was in his 20s. That's where they started using Agile in a crude format, right? To someone who signed the manifesto. So if somebody who is in his 80s now is still being adaptable, still learning, it's wonderful. So if somebody who's had a wonderful career spanning 6 decades or so, if that person is endorsing Agile is here to stay, I would just very humbly sign that, okay, Agile is here to stay, right? Of
Absolutely.
course, the key takeaway is we have to remain adaptable. Be it AI, something else, the core remains, right? So adaptability, collaborative nature, aiming to deliver value, those are the key things that will remain. I think that's the very key I'm taking away from what we discussed today. Thank you,
Thank you.
Nagesh. Thank you all.
Thank you. Gazala?
I think most of them covered. Same. We have to be agile if we want to survive, because all agile principles tell us that adaptability, learning, doing experiments, learning from those experiments, and ultimate goal is our customer value delivery, right? And we have to keep on finding new ways so that we can have more sustainable solutions for the industries and organizations we are working for. And definitely the technologies and the way of workings, everything is gonna keep on changing. So we have to just be adaptable and we have to just keep working on them. That's it. So learning is the ultimate survival skill we have to learn.
Right. Yeah. So excellent discussion, great points, great learnings, great outcome from this episode. So if you really enjoyed watching this episode, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends. Before closing, I'll add my views on today's. So there are multiple takeaways, as Jyoti said. Yeah. One key takeaway is like adaptability. We have to adapt, we have to change, we have to keep learning the things, whatever the new things are coming up on our way. Just not stick to one specific role or one way of working. Like Gazala said, add a domain knowledge or some sort of technical or cloud technology, some other part to your work. You will stay relevant always. Another thing is like I always like to do, be agile and spread the knowledge of agile, not just the agile, but any knowledge. So that's the conclusion of today's episode. From the entire audience of Agile Exploration Hub, I would like to say thank you to all the speakers for making this episode wonderfully well, and keep listening to my videos and keep learning. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Bye
Thank
bye.
Thank
you.
you. Bye bye.